Alright, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakah Quadash, which is the true name of the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son, our two great kings, the gods that the King James Bible speaks of, which again, the true name of the Heavenly Father is Yahweh, and His only begotten Son, who the world of ignorance calls Christ. True name is Yahweh Shai. Second of all, I want to give double honors to my elders and apostles of Great Millstone, Elder Tahar, and on down that rule well. And third of all, I want to give a peace and safety to the hopeful elect out there, the brothers that push this truth, the truth of the King James Bible, and all truth and sincerity throughout the four corners of the globe. All right, so I just want to do a short in transit lesson, or however long the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai allows it to go. And I want to name the video, "The War Drums Continue to Beat." All right, and Lord Wills, brothers, can see on the screen the inspiration for this lesson comes from this screenshot that I took from the Zero Hedge while I was at the plantation, and it reads, U.S. nuclear weapons transferred to UK soil for the first time in over 15 years. All right, again, U.S. nuclear weapons transferred to UK soil for the first time in over 15 years. All right, it says in a huge development, which is no doubt related to recent nuclear cyber rattling, or however you pronounce that word, in the context of the Ukraine war. The U.S. has likely stationed nuclear weapons in Britain for the first time in more than 15 years, according to the Telegraph and other British media reports. It says an American C-17 transporter plane visited the RAF Lincoln Health in Suffolk on Thursday. It's like if I pronounced that wrong. Making a transatlantic journey from Kirkland Air Force Base in New Mexico, where the U.S. Air Force, the USAF, stores nuclear bombs. The Telegraph writes Tuesday. Analysts said it was likely that the flight contained nuclear bombs, which were last stationed in Lorville. It is Lorville. They did take nuclear weapons over there. Take nuclear bombs over there. All right. Last stationed in the UK in 2008, before they were removed under the Obama administration. The reports continue. All right, so again, U.S. nuclear weapons transferred to UK soil for the first time in over 15 years. All right. Clear as day. All right, we're in the time of war. Like the scripture say, the third will come quickly. You know, for rather it's, like we say, all the major players, all right, that's going to be involved in the Third World War, they're either at full force war with a country, or they're involved in proxies. Rather it's Babylon, all right, and them different NATO nations, helping Ukraine or whatever, all right, and the small hats, all right, so you had, because you had the U.S. or the Trump administration or the U.S. bomb Iran a few weeks ago, all right, so you got that, which are the Persians, all right. So you got that. Again, you got the whole Ukraine thing with the different NATO nations or whatever supplying weapons to them. That continues, all right. So the war drums continue to beat. All right, we're clearly in the time of the Third World War, like this could just say. All right. It's like it, man. Satan, man. Slocky, brothers. I promise I'm gonna figure out how to turn that out. Lord willing, turn that off. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 3 verse 8. Is a time of love and a time for hate, a time of war and a time of peace. And obviously we're in a time of war. All right. This isn't an act of peace. This is an act of war. All right, this shows that you want smoke. When you're sending nations nuclear bombs, and more than likely, hopefully they backdoor them. All right, to Ukraine, Lord willing, and shit just pop off from there. Ukraine use them and are successful, Lord willing. All right, to continue to escalate this thing. All right. So again, this is Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 8. Is a time of love and a time for hate, a time of war and a time of peace. And again, we're in a time of war. All right, we're clearly in the time of war, and it's only going to get worse. It's only going to get worse from here. All right. It's St. Matthew chapter 24. It's like in St. Matthew chapter 24, verse 6. And ye shall hear wars. This is the Lord Yahweh Shah speaking. And ye shall hear wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. Right, so this is wars and rumors of wars. And we know ultimately the Third World War can't take place until the mark of the beast, which is the microchip technology, has been made mandatory, which that's clearly coming around the corner. A digital, a cashless society, all right, a full force digital money system is clearly at the doorstep. All right, really, it's already here, because as we speak, you got people that are walking around the earth right now, paying for stuff with their hands. So, like that woman that it was like maybe a year or two ago, maybe like a year or 2 years ago, that woman out in California in the military, all right, that which a lot of Zequania Menakem did lessons on her. That woman, but she's going to be destroyed, all right, by the way. And but a lot of Zequania Menakem did a lesson on that woman in California was paying for stuff with her hands, all right, Judite woman, all right, or so Israelite woman. All right, because she could have been, from one of the other tribes. But, yeah, she was paying for stuff with her hand. All right, and we know her fate is destruction. She's going to be destroyed. All right. But, again, St. Matthew chapter 24, verse 6. And ye shall hear wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled. All right, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet, right? The end is not yet, because the MOTB, again, has to come to pass before, all right, the missiles can be shot, or the Third World War fully kicks off. That the mark of the beast has to be made mandatory throughout the four corners of the globe. All right, here in America, Europe, China, Japan, Russia, all right, so on and so forth. But again, that's coming really soon. All right, it's Revelation chapter 11, verse 14. The second woe was past, and behold, the third woe come quickly. Right, the third woe come quickly. Again, all the major players that's going to be involved in the Third World War, like the scriptures tell us. All right, from again Babylon the Great, which is America, Gog and Magog, which represents Russia, the Persians, which represents the Iranians. All right, the beast with 7 heads and 10 horns, which represents the Northern Atlantic Treaty Organization and the European Union, or the NATO and the EU. All right, they're all right now again in full force war with somebody, with another nation, or with another country, or they're involved in proxies. All right, and again, ultimately, it's going to lead to a full force Third World War. And in that Third World War, Babylon the Great, which is America, the United States, all right? Again, Babylon the Great, which is the United States of America, all right, will be destroyed by way of ICBM nuclear missiles shot by Russia, and them different, mainly Russia and them different European Union countries, all right, or them different NATO and EU countries. All right. So yeah, this is a big move. Salakia brothers. Yeah, Salaki brothers. But yeah, you know, again, we're in the time of war, man. All right, we're in the time of war, and again, we know that the Third World War isn't going to take place until the MOTB, the Mark of the Beast, which is again the microchip technology, has been made mandatory. All right, but you know, all these things going on, moves like this, you know, America or the Babylon bombing Iran. All right, um, you know, all these threats back and forth between Russia and Babylon. You know, all the proxy wars and all of that. All right, again, there's signs to show how close we are to the Third World War. All right, so that means that the C-HIP has to be near. All right, we clearly see the build up for the Third World War, and we clearly know it's at hand. So we know that the C-HIP has to be near. All right, because again, you know, all this stuff going on, the Third World War has to be close. So if the Third World War is close, the C-HIP has to be closer. All right, because again, the C-HIP has to come to pass. All right, the Mark of the Beast, which is again the microchip technology, has to come to pass before the missiles can be shot. All right, so it's close. All right, it's close. So with that, you know, I pray this lesson was edifying. Again, I just, you know, took this screenshot while I was at the plantation reading through articles and just wanted to do something on it real quick. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory again unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakak Wadash. Double honors again to my elders and apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and safety to you brothers that push this truth and sincerity. And with that, I'm going to say shalom.